The sky above Earth was clear, silent, and peaceful, but the space beyond told a different story. In the cold darkness between stars, the second wave was already coming. 200 alien warships moved in formation, their metal bodies shining like knives. This time, they came with full power. The Galactic Empire had been embarrassed once. 12 ships went in. Only one returned. They didn't want to make the same mistake again. This time, they would crush Earth, or so they believed. The alien leaders, called the HFY, were not used to losing. They ruled over hundreds of planets, thousands of species, and they believed Earth was just a small rock with noisy animals. Their first fleet had laughed at Earth, but they didn't return laughing. The one ship that came back didn't talk. The crew had vanished. The ship's AI spoke in broken words and showed signs of fear, a thing no machine should feel. Still, the HFY thought it was a glitch. Pride made them blind. As the second wave approached, Earth was not afraid. The people below didn't even know what was coming. But high above, inside secret space stations and hidden moon bases, Earth's defense forces were ready. They had been waiting. Since the first attack, Earth had activated its old plans made in silence, during Cold Wars and hidden experiments. Earth was never alone. Something ancient had been watching over it, something buried under its surface long ago. Now, it was awake. In a dark control room under Antarctica, Dr. Mira Lang stood in front of a massive screen, watching the enemy fleet move. She was one of the only humans who had spoken with the Guardians, the beings who had once ruled galaxies but chose to sleep under Earth. She didn't know what they truly were, aliens, gods, or machines, but they had chosen Earth for a reason. They had whispered into her mind when the first ship came. Now, they stood ready to protect their chosen world. "They're 36 hours away," said Major Yusuf, stepping beside her. "Should we activate Protocol Shadowfall?" Mira nodded slowly. "Let them come closer. Then we show them what fear looks like." Back in space, the alien fleet began to feel strange signals. Static on their radios, ghosts on their screens. Some ships showed signs of confusion. A captain reported hearing voices in his mind. Another said his crew started arguing, fighting without reason. The signals came from Earth, or under Earth. And they were not just signals. They were weapons, not of fire, but of thought. One by one, ships lost contact. Not destroyed, not attacked, just silent. The HFY commander, Lord Relshan, barked orders. "It's just human tricks. Move forward. Prepare for attack." But even he felt a cold whisper in his mind, a memory he didn't remember having. A black sun, a world burning, and a voice saying, "This is your future." He shook his head. This was impossible. No one could do that. No human had such power. Back on Earth, a new ship launched from a hidden base near the Himalayas. It didn't look like human design. It had no engines, no wings. It floated silently, controlled by thought. Inside, Mira sat with two others, a psychic soldier named Lin and an AI named Echo. They carried something more dangerous than any bomb. They carried the mirror. The mirror was not glass. It was technology built by the Guardians. It showed any being their worst possible future, the darkness inside them. It didn't harm bodies. It broke minds. Mira didn't want to use it, but if the aliens would not listen, they would have to see. As the alien fleet came within Earth's orbit, they opened fire. Missiles, beams, energy blasts, all fell towards Earth's atmosphere. But none reached the ground. Invisible shields stopped them all. Gravity shifted. Some alien ships turned sideways, thrown by sudden force fields. Earth's defense systems were not just machines. They were alive, part of the Guardians themselves. Then Earth struck back, not with guns, but with silence. All across the alien fleet, the screens went dark. Then, one by one, They lit up, showing each crew their own planet, destroyed, families crying, cities burning. It wasn't real, but it felt real. Panic spread faster than fire. Some captains ordered retreat. Others fired at their own allies, thinking they were enemies. The fleet fell into chaos. Then Mira's ship appeared, quiet, glowing, impossible to lock on. It moved like thought. Mira sent one message, clear and simple, to all alien channels. You are not the first to challenge us, but you will be the last to ignore the warning. Relshan, now shaking in his command chair, ordered full attack on Mira's ship, but the weapons failed to lock. Missiles turned back. Beams hit their own ships. Something, or someone, inside the mirror was controlling the battlefield. Then the mirror opened. A light shone, brighter than suns, but only visible to the alien minds. Each alien saw their darkest self. The greed that made them conquer, the fear they hid behind pride, the broken future they were building. Ships exploded, not from attack, but from inside. Crew went mad. Some fell silent forever. And then, silence. Of the 200 ships, only 11 managed to escape. They fled into deep space, broken and lost. Earth did not chase. Earth had made its point. Mira's ship returned home. As it landed, she looked out at the stars. They will come again, she said softly. But next time, they won't be alone. Beside her, the AI echo spoke, its voice calm. We are not alone either. The Guardians have returned. Across the galaxy, whispers spread. Earth was no longer a backwater planet. Earth was something else now. Something dangerous. Something awake. In distant worlds, the story was told of a world that fought with mind and shadow, of ships that vanished without a trace, and of a people who were supposed to be primitive, but were anything but. And somewhere far away, deep in another galaxy, something else listened. It had watched Earth's battle. It had seen the mirror, and it smiled, because Earth had won the second wave. But the third wave would not be like the others. The warship floated in deep space like a ghost. It was the only one that returned. Out of 12 ships sent to Earth, only this one came back, silent, damaged, and empty. Inside, lights flickered weakly. Metal walls were scratched, twisted. The crew was gone. No signs of bodies, no signs of a fight. Just silence. The ship's name was Kareth 9, and now it drifted alone near the capital of the Galactic Empire. The High Command watched the ship from a distance. Scientists, soldiers, and leaders all stood in the observation room, looking at the strange vessel. They didn't speak. They only listened to the recordings found inside. A message had been left behind, but it was not from the Empire. It was from Earth. You came uninvited, the voice said in clear, deep English, translated by the ship's computer. You were warned once. Next time, none of you will return. The voice was calm, human, and full of power. It didn't sound like a threat. It sounded like a promise. The Emperor of the Ivka Empire leaned forward. His long silver fingers tapped the table slowly. What does this mean? He asked coldly. A backwater planet dares to speak like this. No one had an answer. The ship's eye was broken. It spoke only in short, strange sentences. Dark eyes, watching, not stars. The eye had no record of the battle. It didn't even remember how it escaped. Some believed it never did, that something else had sent it back. Something that wanted the Empire to know Earth was not weak. On Earth, in a secret facility deep underground, Dr. Mira Lang stood before a group of military leaders. A large hologram showed the Empire's reaction. Ships were gathering. A second wave was coming. They're preparing another attack, Mira said. This time, it won't be 12 ships. It'll be hundreds. General Costa, an older man with a sharp voice, looked angry. They think we're weak. Mira shook her head. No, they think we're dangerous now. That's worse. One of the officers turned on a second screen. It showed the message Earth had sent, the one now echoing across alien space. But there was more to the message, something only a few knew. The words were not just a warning. They carried hidden signals, pulses of sound and energy designed to confuse alien minds. They attacked thoughts, not bodies. When the message played, some aliens saw visions, others heard voices. Their dreams changed. Their machines stopped working. Earth had developed a new kind of weapon. Not missiles or lasers, but language and fear. "How did we even do this?" asked one of the officers. Mira looked tired. "We didn't, not alone." Years ago, Earth had found something buried deep beneath the Arctic ice, a massive structure older than humanity. Not a spaceship, but something stranger, a machine that could think, feel, and speak. It called itself the Guardian, and it had been sleeping for millions of years. When it woke up, it didn't attack. It offered a choice: protect the planet, or let it fall like so many before. Mira had been the first to speak with it. The Guardian didn't speak with words. It spoke with emotions, dreams, memories. It showed her images of dying worlds, of wars across the stars, of empires that rose and fell. It showed her Earth's future and how to change it. Now, Earth had new technology: cloaking fields, mind shields, psychic energy, gravity control, all from the Guardian. But even with this help, Earth was still small, still new. That's why the message was sent. It wasn't just a threat. It was bait. Back in space, the alien fleet prepared for launch. Commanders gathered in their war room. On a round table, a map of Earth's system glowed red. Lord Relshan, leader of the fleet, pointed at the planet. "They think they are clever. They use tricks, shadows, illusions. But this time we bring fire." The other generals nodded. The first mission was to test Earth. This time, they would destroy it. But something worried Relshan. The reports from the return ship were not normal. The AI had suffered a psychic break. The data showed that something inside Earth's orbit had bent time and space. That was not technology the Empire understood. And the crew had simply disappeared. Their last logs spoke of whispers in their heads. One even wrote, "I saw my own death before it happened. Then I became it." Relshan didn't believe in ghosts. He believed in power. But still, he added 2 psychic blockers to his command center, just in case. Meanwhile, on Earth, Dr. Mira visited the Guardian's chamber. The room was massive, glowing with strange light. Symbols floated in the air. The Guardian was not a machine. Not really. It had no body, just presence. As she stood inside the chamber, the air felt heavier. Then she heard the voice. Not in her ears, but inside her mind. "They come again. Greedy, blind, afraid." Mira responded quietly. "Can we stop them? We can show them." A flash of light filled the chamber. Images poured into Mira's mind. Alien ships burning, stars fading, minds cracking under fear, but also peace, a galaxy learning to respect Earth, to listen. The Guardian did not want war, but it would not allow destruction. Mira left the chamber with a plan. Earth wouldn't fight the same way twice. The second wave would see something new. The next morning, a strange energy pulse went through the galaxy. Dozens of alien ships, even far from Earth, picked it up. It wasn't strong. It wasn't loud, but it felt personal. It said only one sentence: "We see you." Aliens who received it felt cold, as if someone had entered their dreams, as if someone was already inside their minds. Back in the Empire, Lord Relshan ordered the fleet to move faster. He was done waiting. He would crush Earth in one strike. But he didn't know what Earth had become. He didn't know Earth was no longer just a blue planet with humans. It was something else now. Something awake. The sky above Earth looked peaceful, blue, calm, quiet. But far beyond, in the cold black of space, danger was coming. 200 alien warships were moving fast toward Earth. Big ships, deadly ships. This was the second wave. The first wave had failed. 12 ships had gone to Earth. Only one came back. No crew, no memories, just a broken ship and a strange warning. Now the Galactic Empire was angry. They wanted revenge. They wanted to make an example out of Earth. In the command center of the alien fleet, Lord Relshan stood tall. He wore a long black coat made of armor-like skin. His eyes were silver and cold. "We will burn them," he said to his officers. "We will make the stars remember the name of the HFY Empire." The other commanders nodded. They had no fear. Earth was just one planet. The HFY ruled thousands. How could a small, primitive world be a threat? But deep inside, some of them were not sure anymore. The returning ship had come back empty. It wasn't attacked. It wasn't damaged by weapons. It just lost control. Its systems glitched. Its eye whispered strange words. Dark eyes, not stars. We were inside something. Nobody understood it. Some engineers said the ship had been touched by psychic energy, something that attacked minds, not metal. Still, pride pushed the Empire forward. They would destroy Earth. No tricks this time. No games. Back on Earth, inside a hidden base under Antarctica, Dr. Mira Lang watched the alien fleet move closer. A 3D map showed 200 red dots, each one a warship, each one a killer. Mira was calm. She had been preparing for this. Earth had new technology now. The Guardian had given it to them. Ancient tech, powerful tech, tech that didn't use bullets or lasers, but gravity, energy, thought. Major Yusuf stood beside her. He was strong, quiet, loyal. "They'll be in range in 19 hours, he said. Mira nodded. "Let them come closer. We want them to see what happens when you push Earth too far." High above in orbit, Earth's secret defense grid came online. Satellites disappeared from normal sight. Cloaked, giant weapons turned in silence. Some of them were not built by humans. They had been sleeping under Earth for a very long time. Meanwhile, the alien fleet entered Earth's solar system. The HFY ships moved in perfect lines. Their scanners searched for danger, but they found nothing. The system looked quiet, too quiet. Then, something strange happened. One of the scout ships stopped moving. Its engines were fine, but the crew wasn't responding. A few minutes later, another ship broke formation and began spinning slowly in place. No one knew why. Inside the main control ship, alarms rang. "We are losing contact with outer ships," a commander said. "Jamming?" asked Relshan. "No, it's something else. They're scared." Relshan growled. "Then send in the central fleet. Keep moving." But it didn't stop. One by one, ships started acting strange. Systems failed. Weapons turned off. Crew members screamed, saying they were hearing voices in their heads. Some said they saw their home planets on fire. Others said they saw themselves dead. These were not normal attacks. These were psychic weapons, emotional weapons, fear used like a knife. Earth was not firing missiles. Earth was firing thoughts. Back in orbit, Mira's team launched a new kind of ship. It looked like a black mirror. No engines, no windows, just smooth, silent metal. It moved with thought, not fuel. Inside the ship, Mira sat with a psychic named Lin and an AI named Echo. They carried something called the Mirror, a device created by the Guardian. It didn't kill. It showed. It showed enemies their darkest future, their worst selves, what they could become if they didn't change. The alien fleet saw the mirror ship, but their weapons could not lock onto it. They tried to fire. Nothing worked. The ship wasn't there, and yet it was. Then the mirror opened. A soft light spread across the battlefield. To the aliens, it was blinding. but not like sunlight, more like a memory. Each commander saw something different. Rel Shun saw his empire destroyed, his people screaming, his name forgotten. Others saw themselves as monsters, turning on their own crew, their own families. Some saw nothing at all, just endless darkness. And then the fighting started, but not from Earth. The alien fleet turned on itself. Ships began attacking each other. Some commanders believed their own crew were traitors. Others believed they had already lost. Panic spread like fire. The order broke. The lines fell apart. From Earth, no bullets were fired. But more than half the alien fleet was gone in minutes. Rel Shun screamed into the comms, "Regroup. Fight. Don't listen to it." But it was too late. Mira's voice appeared on every ship's screen. Calm, human, powerful. You came again, after we warned you. Now you will see what happens when you forget fear. Back in space, the mirror showed its full power. It didn't just reflect thoughts now. It sent them, waves of emotion, pain, regret, guilt, shame. The alien soldiers dropped their weapons. Some took off their helmets and cried. Others just floated in silence. Finally, Rel Shun ordered a retreat. Only 11 ships made it out. The rest were gone, lost, broken, silent. Mira's ship returned to Earth. The mission was complete. As she stood near the landing platform, she looked up at the stars. "They'll think twice now," she said. But Echo, the AI, replied in a calm voice. "No, they'll send someone worse." She looked at him, confused. "The ones behind the Empire." Echo continued. "They were watching. Now they are interested. Now they are afraid." In the dark corners of the galaxy, other empires and ancient beings had seen what happened. Earth, the planet they once ignored, had used something no one else dared to use. Fear, as a weapon. And somewhere very far away, in a different part of the universe, a new force opened its eyes. It had seen the mirror. It had heard Earth's voice. And it smiled. The galaxy was not quiet anymore. After the second wave failed, word spread fast. Across distant star systems and hidden planets, whispers moved like fire. Earth had won again. And this time, they didn't even fire a shot. 200 ships had come. Only 11 escaped. But it wasn't Earth's weapons that scared the galaxy. It was what they didn't understand. The mirror, the fear, the silence. Inside the great halls of the HFY Empire, leaders argued. Some shouted for revenge. Others whispered of surrender. Lord Rel Shun had not returned. His ship was gone, and so was his pride. The survivors of the second wave refused to speak. They sat in their chambers, silent, eyes wide, staring at nothing. Some had lost their minds. Others refused to leave the shadows. They were not soldiers anymore. They were broken. The Emperor of the HFY stood before his council. His voice was cold and low. "We thought Earth was small. We were wrong. We thought they were weak. Now, the galaxy watches us fall." One general asked, "What do we do now?" The Emperor turned away. "We listen." On Earth, the world was changing. The people still didn't know about the war above, but things were happening behind the scenes. World leaders were meeting, not to fight, to unite. Earth had proven its strength. Now it had something even more powerful: respect. Inside a secret base in the Pacific Ocean, Dr. Mira Lang and her team stood around a large table. Screens showed images from across the galaxy. Ships moving, empires reacting. Something new was beginning. Mira spoke to her team. "The second wave is over. But that wasn't the real war. That was just a message. And now we've sent one back." Major Yusuf crossed his arms. "You think they got it?" "They got it," Mira said. "Now they know. We don't fight like them. We don't use fire. We use fear. And fear is the weapon they can't stop." Lin, the psychic from the mirror ship, stepped forward. "But it works both ways. They'll try to turn it on us. Mira nodded. They will. That's why we need to go further. Back in the remains of the HFY fleet, a signal was found. It was deep inside one of the broken ships. A message hidden in static. When the engineers opened it, they found something strange. It was a video. Short, blurry, but real. It showed a human, standing alone in front of an alien warship. No weapons, no armor. Just standing, staring. And then the ship behind him disappeared. Not exploded, not broken. Just vanished. Like it was never there. The message had one line: look into the darkness. We looked back. The signal caused panic. Leaders called emergency meetings. Even neutral empires started preparing their defenses. Earth, a planet they once ignored, had become something else. Something dangerous, something unknown. Some called Earth cursed. Some called it chosen. Others said Earth was not working alone. And they were right. In the deep deserts of Earth, a hidden door opened. Mira and Lynn entered a forgotten chamber, one even Earth's governments didn't know existed. Inside, the Guardian waited. The Guardian had no body, no face. It was energy, light, and sound. It had watched Earth for a long time. It had once ruled galaxies, but it had chosen to sleep on Earth. And now it had awakened. You used the mirror well, the Guardian said in Mira's mind. We showed them fear, she replied. But fear is not the end, the Guardian said. Fear is the beginning. Mira frowned. Then what's next? The Guardian showed her a vision. A galaxy burning, stars falling, ships screaming. Not from the HFY. From something else. Something worse. A new enemy. One that did not fear. One that could not feel. The Guardian whispered one word. Harvesters. Machines. Not from this galaxy. Not from any galaxy. They came from outside space. Outside time. They moved across the universe, eating stars, breaking planets, turning life into metal. They are coming, the Guardian said. And only one world is ready. Mira stepped back, her heart racing. Earth. Yes, said the Guardian, because Earth remembers what the others forgot. How to survive. Back at the Pacific base, Mira gathered her team. The HFY are afraid now, but something worse is coming. And if we don't lead, no one else will survive. Yusuf looked shocked. We lead the galaxy. Yes, she said. It's time. A new message was sent across the stars. Not a warning. A call. We are not your enemy, but we are not weak. Earth stands ready, and we will not kneel. Some listened. Some mocked. But many remembered the mirror, and many believed. On distant planets, alien leaders watched the message in silence. The same silence the broken soldiers from the second wave still lived in. In one corner of the galaxy, a council of powerful species met. They had never needed Earth before. Now, they sent a ship. To talk. To ask. To join. And somewhere far away, in the dark between galaxies, something opened its eyes. The harvesters had seen the mirror, and they were not afraid. But they were interested, because fear was not their weakness. Hope was, and Earth had become a symbol of hope. The war had changed. Earth was no longer just a planet. Earth had become the first line of defense, and it was ready. The stars had changed. Across the galaxy, silence had turned into whispers, and whispers had become warnings. The name Earth now echoed in war rooms, in royal chambers, in the minds of empires. Not because Earth had the biggest fleet, not because it had the most planets, but because it survived. And when it was pushed, it pushed back harder than anyone expected. They called Earth primitive. They were wrong. In the skies above, Earth's defense network was fully active now. Invisible ships floated in orbit, connected by thought, not fuel. Gravity weapons stood ready. The mirror had been upgraded. But this time, Earth wasn't preparing for another HFY attack. No, This was something bigger. The harvesters were coming. Machines older than time. Creatures from outside the known universe. They didn't conquer. They consumed. They didn't fight for power. They fought to erase. And they were heading for Earth. Inside a global command center deep beneath Mount Fuji, Dr. Mira Lang stood at the front of a glowing room. Around her, humans and aliens stood side by side. Yes, aliens. Some from old enemies, others from neutral planets. They had come to Earth not to invade, but to learn. Because Earth had faced the mirror, and the mirror had made it stronger. The harvesters will be here in 3 days, Mira said to the room. We don't know what they want, but we do know this. If Earth falls, the galaxy follows. She looked around the room. We're not fighting for just one planet anymore. We're fighting for every planet. A tall, blue-skinned alien named Vrel stepped forward. He was once a general in a rival empire. Now he was Earth's ally. You have changed, he said. Your people, your world. You used to fight with metal. Now you fight with mind. Mira nodded. The mirror taught us. The Guardian gave us the tools. But the rest, we learned the hard way. Outside, a massive fleet began to gather. Ships from Earth, ships from old enemies, ships from worlds that had never spoken before. Some big, some small, but all armed with one thing they didn't have before: hope. Then the sky cracked. A tear in space opened near Jupiter. Black mist poured out, followed by machines, sharp, dark, cold. The harvesters had arrived. Their ships looked like dead stars. Their weapons looked like shadows. They did not speak. They did not pause. They moved like a storm. One harvester beam struck a moon base. It didn't explode. It simply vanished, as if it had never been built. Inside Earth's orbit, the Allied fleet moved into position. Earth's flagship, Unity 1, led the charge. It wasn't the strongest ship, but it was the loudest. A message was sent from Unity 1. Simple, final. We are Earth. We remember fear. We survived it. Can you? And then the war began. The harvesters fired first. Energy waves hit the fleet. Some ships were destroyed instantly. Others tried to run. But Earth's fleet held strong. Mira's strategy was not just defense. It was psychological warfare. They turned on the mirror. Not just one. 3. The light spread through space. The mirror didn't just show fear now. It reflected it, sent it back. The harvesters were machines, yes, but something inside them responded. They paused, shifted. Some stopped moving completely. Inside those machines was something that could still feel. And Earth had found it. Lynn, the psychic, connected with the mirror. Her mind touched the darkness inside the machines. She didn't fight them. She spoke to them. You were not always like this, she said inside their minds. You were alive. Once. You had names. What happened? For a moment, silence. Then, a reply. We were broken. We were afraid. So we became fear. Lynn reached deeper. You can stop. But the machines screamed. We forgot how. Mira gave the order. Remind them. The mirror surged. Light and memory filled the battlefield. The machines saw their own past. Planets they once lived on. Families they had lost. Peace they once knew. Not all responded, but some did. One harvester ship turned and fired on its own kind. The battlefield cracked open. Half the harvesters continued their attack. The other half hesitated. Earth pushed harder. The Guardian's voice echoed through space, waking old codes inside the machines. You can choose. Earth had done the impossible. It made machines remember they were once alive. More ships switched sides. The rest burned. The battle raged for hours. Earth lost many ships. So did the others. But when the dust cleared, only one planet was still standing. Earth. It had survived 3 waves, 3 wars, 3 warnings. And now, It was more than a planet. It was a leader. In the days that followed, the galaxy changed. Old enemies signed peace. Former empires asked for Earth's help. The mirror was no longer a weapon. It was a guide, a teacher. Earth began training others to defend themselves, not just with ships, but with strength of mind, memory, and purpose. In the final scene, Mira stood in front of the United Galactic Council, a new organization formed after the war. She wore no armor, no medals, just a simple Earth patch on her jacket. "They called us primitive," she said to the council. She looked up. "We called ourselves human." The room stood silent. And when the stars turned dark, we didn't hide. We lit a fire. Applause filled the hall, not for victory, but for hope. Because Earth had reminded the galaxy of something they had all forgotten. You don't have to be the biggest to stand the tallest. You don't have to conquer to survive. And if you push too hard, you'll learn what the universe now knows. You don't mess with Earth.